Again, this is Bernie Borges from Social Business Engine, and this is Poolside Sales Chat episode 11. And today I am going to talk about the difference between following and stalking in your social selling plan. You know, when this topic first kind of popped in onto my radar, I thought it was a little bit obvious. Like, most people don't really think of themselves in a sales environment, in social selling, they don't think of themselves as stalking. But I've been on the receiving end of some tactics that actually are stalker-like. And that's kind of what got my attention and why I wanted to do a specific episode here on Poolside Sales Chat just about this episode. So let's begin with this question, starting with the why. Why do you actually follow someone? And how can you cross the line between following and stalking? So I think the obvious answer in following someone is that you're a salesperson, you've identified an individual at an account, you know exactly who she is, you know her name, you know her title, you know her responsibility. So you want to follow her, and eventually you want to earn a conversation with her. All well-intentioned, absolutely the right way to be thinking. However, I want to offer you some do's and some don'ts on the ways to actually earn the right for that conversation with this individual. So first, let me start with some do's. Actually, I'm going to be mixing the do's and the don'ts in together. So the first one is, do visit her LinkedIn profile. Pretty obvious, right? But what I want you to do is, I want you to visit her profile only once. Only once. And the reason is, and you probably know this, is that she will know that you visited her profile. So when you go to that profile, make it count. Study her profile. In fact, you might even want to take a screenshot of her profile. Maybe you even want to print it. Go ahead and kill a tree. It's a good cause. But the idea is that by visiting her profile once, capture the information on her profile so that you can learn about her current role, her previous roles, groups she belongs to, college attended, interests, what she says in her summary, as well as even some common connections. So capture all of that. But before you leave her profile, I want you to follow her. And the way to do that is, there's a connect button. You know where that is. To the right of that connect button, there's a down arrow. Click on the down arrow, and the second option down is follow. So now once you click follow, you are now following her. What that means is that as she posts status updates on LinkedIn, and if she publishes articles on LinkedIn, you are going to see them in your stream, just as if you were connected to her first degree. And you'll get notified when she publishes those articles. So once you are following her, then you have an opportunity to engage with her. Once again, the difference between following and stalking comes into play here. When you see her posting status updates, do leave comments. Don't say great article or great comment. Do leave intelligent comments. If she's published an article, do leave not just a comment, but maybe even links to other articles. Do include articles that would be relevant and useful and informational to her. Don't include a bunch of articles that are about you or your company, unless it's one of many, many different articles. So those are a few do's and don'ts on LinkedIn. Now, the other thing that I want to get to now is Twitter. Do follow her on Twitter. Now, when you follow her, she will get a notification that you're following her. That's natural. She may not even notice it. So once you're following her, though, what I suggest you do is create a stream, a dedicated stream in your favorite Twitter social listening tool. And in that stream, make it dedicated to her, as well as other people that you're following, because they're on your target list to get into, right? So do create that list and follow what she's tweeting. Do observe what she's tweeting about. Do observe who she's engaging with on Twitter. But don't, and I repeat, don't retweet everything that she tweets. Don't automate retweets of everything she tweets. That's happened to me. It's very annoying. Don't send her a direct message unless you're very confident that you have earned the right to send her a direct message. Don't add her to a public list that you've created and is public, and you've named that list Hot Prospects. don't do that. Now, what you should do is add her to a public list that you've created, and you've titled that list something very flattering. So for example, simple example, industry thought leaders, and you add her to that list of industry thought leaders. That's something that I recommend that you do. Now, if you have a private list of prospects, do add her to your private list of prospects, but make sure that it's private. Now, do observe the people that she's engaging with. I mentioned this earlier, but both in the context of LinkedIn and Twitter, observe who she's engaging with and look for opportunities to engage with those people and maybe even build some relationships with them. And perhaps through some authentic relationship building, you might actually get an introduction or an open door to this person that you actually are following that you want to have a sales conversation with. Now, one more do and a few don'ts associated with this, and this is, do follow her or check out her Facebook profile. However, don't say something like, hey, I saw that you were in vacation in Hawaii last week. You posted that on Facebook. Don't say that. Don't do anything that is going to embarrass yourself, perhaps even embarrass her. Do use discretion. Do use common sense. Simply learn whatever you can learn about her based on what she's posting on her Facebook profile. The idea is basically just to get to know her as much as you can so that when you do earn that sales conversation, you've got some things to talk about more than just your products and services. So essentially what I'm talking about here is following someone in a social selling environment really is about doing it in a way that's engaging and not intrusive, not invasive to them, and in a way that actually allows you to build some trust, awareness, and credibility, especially if you can follow someone who is in that early stage of their evaluation cycle and they're conducting research online. And if you are following them in a way that you can engage with them, again, non-intrusive, non-obstructive, then you've got a great opportunity, a great chance of engaging with them and earning that sales conversation. And then, of course, the last point that I want to make on this is that you need to make sure you've got a strong social profile, because at some point in all of this engagement, she is going to visit your social profile, and you've got to have a strong social profile in order for you to make that great first impression on this particular prospective customer. All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 11 of Poolside Sales Chat. Hey, what I covered here today is actually on a blog post at socialbusinessengine.com. So just visit socialbusinessengine.com, go to the blog, and you'll see a blog post on this topic. You'll see lots of other resources there, including podcasts on social selling. So until next week's Poolside Sales Chat, this is Bernie Borges wishing you continued sunshine. See ya.